High places. What are they? What do they look like? And what does God say about them? Let's talk about it. The term high place is found in Scripture 363 times. Because it is found so many times, I think it's important we understand what the word's talking about. While it's often translated as a height or high place or a place at a higher elevation, it doesn't always necessarily mean that in its context. The term Bama refers to an elevated site often used for worship in religious rituals in ancient Israel and surrounding cultures. A lot of times God would call for his people to remove the high places of their enemies as soon as they invaded their lands. To help give you a visual, if you're a movie buff like me, you may have seen the movie Troy. Achilles, as soon as he lands on the beach, he and his men attack the enemy soldiers and they work their way up to the palace out on the beach. They kill all the priests and the servants of the priest in their temple. There are two contexts of destroying the high places that I want to cover today. The first is found in Numbers 33, 51, and 52. It says, "Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when you pass over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you and destroy all their figured stones and destroy all their metal images and demolish all their high places." The first thing that the God of Israel wanted his people to do when they crossed into the promised land was to destroy the high places of the enemy and remove their gods right in front of them. Also mentioned in another video that I've done, whenever God was pulling the people out of Egypt, he attacked an Egyptian god with every single plague that was used against the Egyptians. Another form of context that we see in regards to high places is God restoring his people and restoring the altars that were meant for his worship. In 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 15, moreover, at the altar at Bethel, the high place erected by Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, that altar with the high place he pulled down and burned, reducing it to dust. He also burned the Asherah. In the book of 2 Kings, we find King Josiah cleaning house, removing all the high places that the corrupted kings before him have put up that were places considered evil by God and used for worship of false gods as well. How is any of this relevant to today? In Luke chapter 4, starting in verse 5, "And the devil took him and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And he said to him, To you I will give this authority and their glory, for it has been delivered to me, and I give it to whom I will. If you then will worship me, it will all be yours. And Jesus answered him, It is written, You shall worship the Lord your God and serve him only." Now, whether you've been a believer for 20 years or for 20 minutes, odds are in your life and mine, we may have things that are considered high places, things that we put before the Lord that gets the attention of our worship rather than him on occasions. These things are considered idols before the Lord. And you and I should always make sure that we observe ourselves and that we have the ability to exercise self-awareness where we can ask the Lord to acknowledge these things in our life and point them out to us and show us how to get rid of them and bring them down so that we can serve him only. Hope this is helpful. Be blessed.